Look at this movie right here called The Turning Point right here. And isn't that the company Charlie Kirk co-founded? Look, he co-founded the conservative organization Turning Point USA in 2012 and was its executive director. He published a range of books and hosted the Charlie Kirk Show, a talk radio program. Right? You see that right there behind him, Turning Point action. But look at this film, 1952 film, The Turning Point. I see that it's 1952. President, government, White House, all equal 52. Obviously, he's connected to politics, right? You see that? President, government, and White House 52. When I'm looking at this here, okay, John, I'm not going to go through like this entire movie. I want to show you how this is just kind of like a script being played out with these patterns repeated. So maybe in the future, when we're not around, maybe this Charlie Kirk story, and you see connected with Trump, you see the horns right there. But maybe when we're all gone, they're going to say that like this was a movie. You understand? Actors on the world stage. But right now, they're kind of deceiving us, making us think this is real life. You understand? Right? So that's possible, and you see this movie here, maybe way before this, you could connect the same story to something that people thought was real. So you kind of see what I mean there. So I'm just going to read a little bit of the plot here. John Conroy is a special prosecutor given extraordinary powers to break up the crime syndicate in a large Midwestern town. You see John right there, kind of like Donald John Trump, right? His investigation will focus on Neil Eichelberger and his criminal operation. A local journalist, Jerry McKibben, is a sympathetic to this, but feels Conroy isn't experienced enough to handle the task. Matt Conroy, John Conroy's father, is a local policeman assigned to be his chief investigator. McKibben discovers that Matt Conroy is a crooked cop who works for Eichelberger. Imagine this being like, imagine these characters connecting to these stories, like I mentioned, right? McKibben demands that Matt break with the mobster or he'll inform his son, John Conroy, of the duplicity to vindicate himself. It is decided that Matt Conroy will procure a damning file from the DA's office that Eichelberger has requested. Now, when you think of that, you kind of think of like Epstein files. Jeffrey Epstein, right? And that connects to Trump. And Trump with those images with Epstein, and are they going to release the files? Isn't that interesting? Right? That's very interesting. So you see how it says that here, to vindicate himself, it is decided that Matt Conroy will procure a damning file from the DA's office. And you even get Eichelberger here. You get E like Epstein, that Eichelberger has requested, but he will retain a copy. Even before this double cross is exposed, Eichelberger decides to have Matt Conroy murdered, okay, in order to instill fear in his operation, showing that Eichelberger is in control of the situation, since John Conroy's investigation is more serious than expected. Matt Conroy is killed during a phony robbery So you kind of get phony right there, where, I'm not the only channel that thinks this Charlie Kirk stuff is phony, right? Okay, there's a lot of channels out there not just going along with this like it's real, okay? That does look like an AI photo, by the way. That is an extreme AI photo right there. It's very obvious, all right? I'm not trying to like stretch anything here, okay? It's obvious that that's not real, okay? But isn't that interesting? So, a lot of people there's a lot of truth channels now by design just slowly waking people up to the fake world, but it becomes so mainstream, people are cool with it. They're so distracted with social media, TikTok, the internet, their phones. So, phony robbery, look at how it says assassin right there. And Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Remember, this movie's called Turning Point, The Turning Point, with 52, that number connected to politics. You see that? And his assassin, Monty LaRue, is immediately killed in turn. John Conroy's investigation is systematically uncovering Eichelberger's crimes. And in anticipation of having their books subpoenaed, Eichelberger has the building house then burned. He has callous disregard for the people renting there. Blah, blah, blah. But I thought that was like super interesting. And this movie was also released on the 14th of November. Remember, Charlie Kirk is born on the 14th of October, 1 month before. You see right there. So, I mean, that's pretty wild, okay? Look back over here. Meanwhile, and again, I'm not trying to go over this whole script and, oh, let's memorize the script. I'm just showing you what pops, okay? Meanwhile, Carmelina manages to reach John Conroy. Her testimony is sufficient, along with already acquired information, to topple Eichelberger. Look at the hired gun. Red shoots McKibben. Red, kind of like Red Republican. Donald Trump red, right? So, I mean, it's pretty wild, okay? And I'm not saying this is like exact. And remember, there's a guy, John Conroy, and like Donald John Trump, right? Right there. So, William Holden as Jerry McKibben was an American actor, one of the biggest box office draws. Imagine in the future if they're saying Donald John Trump, American actor, was one of the biggest right? And then they're saying this stuff is like a movie. Because a lot of times you may watch a movie and it's like, they make it look realistic, right? Think about that. In the future, they're talking about this like it's a movie. We're not going to be around to say, hey, they didn't say it was a movie back then. They were telling us that was real. You know what I'm saying? Edmund O'Brien is John Conroy right here. Remember Donald John Trump? Look at the middle name here, Joseph, kind of like Joe Biden. American actor of stage, screen, and television, and film director. His career spanned almost 40 years. And just some other characters here in this movie. So, I mean, that's pretty wild, isn't it? The Turning Point, November 14th. One day before November 14th is November 13th, 1113. Remember, politics equals 113. Also, running time 85 minutes. I know Donald John Trump equals 185. So you get that 85 right there. So, pretty wild. And I just wanted to make this video real quick. Let me go back here. The turning point. Here's one from 1977 as well. Remember, United States equals 77. There's definitely going to be connections with all of these. Look, this released also November 14th, but in 77. You see that right there? Isn't this how you see this stuff just repeats? You get New York. Look, it says ballot. Think about like voting. Trump born in New York. So that's pretty wild, isn't it? Shirley MacLaine, MAC, kind of like the Donald Trump McDonald's connection that we've had, with him serving fries. So that's pretty wild. Yeah, it's not easy to see. This stuff's all with the language, all right? This stuff's all with the language. So let me click on images here. Sometimes some of this stuff is just like right in front of your face. I just want to see if there's anything else here. The turning point. So that's interesting. Why did explain the company The Turning Point? USA. Let's just put that in the calculator real quick. I think The Turning Point USA might equal 88 like Trump as well. It does. You see 88 like Trump equals 88, Trump equals 47. You see 74 right there. And 187, which is known for kind of like a murder code, right? So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. But maybe The Turning Point 84, Donald Trump 48. Donald Trump 48 right there. So yeah, I just wanted to make that video real quick. Interesting, if you're a new decoder out there, you don't even have to be a decoder if you don't want to be classified as anything, but just look at the language, the stuff, think about like rappers, how they just copy and imitate variations of the name, all the rappers with the name Lil. You know what I mean? You could find a lot of connections. Just go off of the language. So that's it. I just wanted to make this video to show you that real quick. Okay.